all together. Oh, excellent. All right, so introduction. In this power session, introduction, the power of a database, build a database. Just what? Oh, okay. Got it. Okay. Build the database. Oh, thank you, Heather. Awesome. Thank you. Build a database, feed it every day, communicate with it in a systematic way, and service all the leads that come your way. And then final thoughts and putting it all together. So I'm here now. Tasha and Daniel, are you at experience or energy?
Energy.
Okay. So yeah, this is my first time leading this, so this should be interesting. Hi, Chris. I have Chris here from KW Experience. Thank you. This is telling you the ground rules, so I'm going to skip this. Lead generation activities, and I believe, Chris, have you been attending all of them?
Yeah, I attended the last keys.
Okay, so because these are in a series, basically what happens is these are things that you would do at the beginning of every series. So if this is your guys' first time, I'm going to skip this lead. Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Why you are here. So lead generation in the course map and seeing the light. So the importance of leveraging a database. So we're in number 4 right now. What will make this a great training experience? So does everybody, let's talk about the database for a little while. Does everybody use command here? And Tasha and Daniel, you guys are echoing on my end a little bit. So even if you can pop it into the message box, I don't know if that's a possibility. But is everybody using command, or are people using different databases?
Yep.
What are you using, Chris?
It's called Keep or Infusion.
Okay. Tasha, what are you using?
It's all good.
Command. Daniel? I'm learning command. Okay. Are you guys newer agents, or more? Have you guys been doing this for a little while?
I'm just going to talk on here. I know I'm echoing, but it's
That's okay.
It's just easier. So I've always been a part of a team, and I've mostly specialized in pre-construction. So I've recently switched over to KW Energy, and I'm just starting to kind of branch out on my own. I've been in the industry for about 5-6 years.
Okay, perfect.
First time kind of being a solo agent and having to do all of this stuff on my own and be responsible for my own lead generation.
Yeah, it is. I have worked with a team as well. So when I first started real estate, I was with a team, and they kind of managed a lot of that stuff. And then I started to have to take care of it and do it on my own. So the biggest thing that they say, like, I'm just going to start off by, they say to have 200 contacts in your database. So have you guys gone through your phones and added in contacts to your command database? Like, do you have people in there, or is it empty? Or
my command is empty. Of my few, like our CRM, I've done that with ours.
yeah.
I think the biggest thing is, if you were going to do that, you have to send out like an introduction of yourself to all your contacts, so they're knowing what they're getting.
Yeah. So in our database, like, just having as much detail in command. So command is really useful in the sense that you can write in notes about who your kids are, who their kids are, who their pets are, like past properties, rental properties. Like, I have one client that has pretty much all their information, but it has all the rental properties listed in their address and labeled as that. So they say to have 200 contacts in your database for constant follow-up and systematic follow-up is the way to produce as much business on their own. Now, I don't personally specialize in database stuff. I have work to do myself on it. But when it comes to follow up and getting in touch with all of your clients, that's something that is extremely important. And from personal experience, not doing appropriate follow up has cost me many, many deals. So the power of a database, a record of your business success. The heart of your business is your database, and the heart of your business is your regular contact with your database. Record contact information from your leads, track your interactions with them, and assign them to appropriate marketing plans. So having a 8x8 and different touches. The great thing about what I use Command for almost the most is the opportunities tab. I categorize all of my hot and cold leads into different spots in my opportunities. So then the first thing I do in my day, instead of just scrolling through my database and finding someone to follow up with, I actually open up my opportunities and see who are my hot and my cold leads. So those are the people that I need to make sure that I'm in touch with constantly. And then every time I talk to somebody, it gets put a note into the database, because I had people I hadn't talked to in 2 or 3 years, and I went back and I remembered that they had 3 kids, or I remembered they went through a divorce. And having that personal touch with them, who forgot who I was because I hadn't spoken to them in so long, knew they could trust me because at some point they had given me all that personal information. So track your interactions with them and assign them to appropriate marketing plans. So putting them on drip campaigns. Now, does everybody have kind of a drip campaign that they use, or like a monthly marketing newsletter that they send out?
I don't have anything other than really my social media. And to be honest, I have my clients. Am I really echoing? Is it, I can type.
No, you're okay. Yeah.
I have the clients that I have in Command are clients that I've either have like listing paperwork set up with or what have you. I have all of my other clients over the past, years in an Excel spreadsheet, but I would like to shift them over and kind of get started on all that. Like I've got part of my weekly to-do list this week is to start preparing a newsletter so that I can send this out.
Yeah, and I find the hardest thing about getting a newsletter ready is actually coming up with the content for it. Hi, I'm Sarah. Is actually coming up with the content for it and finding something to fill. I have seen other people's newsletters and I've drawn from that a little bit. So I think trying to come up with something and then being on top of it is really important. Now, if you have your direct contacts in your database right now, making sure to put every contact you have in your database. And Chris is right, like getting in touch with them or doing an intro. But sometimes I don't even feel like I have to get in touch with everybody right off the hop. Just getting them in your database is step one. Getting them in, getting them addresses, phone numbers, and categorizing them in proper labels, I think is one of the most important things that you can do right off the hop. So record a record of we're still here. When you hear of doctors or lawyers selling their practice, what are they really selling? Their contact database and the relationship they have built with people in it. So this is a perfect example of kind of what I do. So my real estate career hasn't really been, I don't have an overly strong personal database. And I knew that. And I'm a fairly shy person, which is why I'm not great at presenting things. So I'm a fairly shy person and I needed to build my database. So when I started to build my database and add people, I had to find a way that worked for me. So for me, I just made myself a professional people meter. I would meet people in the schoolyard. I have kids. I would meet people at the gym. I would meet people wherever I go. And even though I wouldn't have all of their information, I might just have their first name, last name, and maybe phone number. I would still add it into my database, a note of how I met them, and a note of things that we have talked about over time. So even though I wasn't necessarily sending them drip campaigns, as I was getting to know them better, I was having more conversations with them on the schoolyard. And now I'm going to become top of mind as in being their real estate agent. So they're saying, what's the importance here of having their contact database and the relationship they've built with these people is I'm not an overly car salesman-y person. I'm not shoving real estate in everybody's faces. I'm just trying to have nice conversations with people, and I build most of my business off of trusted relationships with my clients. They know I'm going to take care of them. And then the other thing that I did, because I didn't have an overly strong database and I've moved a couple times, so I've had to build new databases places, is I have created relationships with other real estate agents in different towns. And I have kind of piggybacked off of their referrals and their database. So most of my business is off of referrals from other agents, either agents that have been here and getting into retirement mode, but they're not ready to give up their business. I can be the feet on the ground and tap into their database. Moms who are going on, who'd like a little bit of mat leave, I've gone after and it's worked. People who have moved out of country or out of province, or snowbirds. So the older generation of real estate agents who have decided to go down south for the winter, they still want to run their business here. So I've kind of worked with them in their database so that they can continue their business. Now, it's not overly sustainable for my own personal business, but now I've created a relationship with enough realtors that they know they can pass it on to their friends, that I've worked with them and helped them keep their business going, and has built my own business from just referrals from people that have ended up back in my lap. But adding those people to your database and finding people to add to your database is really important. I'm very, very big on talk to everybody. If you are standing out front of a listing, and there has been twice now I have been standing out front of somebody else's listing, and someone has walked by and started asking questions about that listing, and I've continued conversation and gotten their contact information and put it in my phone. And out of those two people, it turned into 3 deals: a buy, a sell, and another buy. So that's the importance of just talking to everybody. Don't brush off somebody who's being nosy as you're standing out front of a listing. Don't brush off the neighbor who wants to, like, always have these conversations. And later on in this course, not this one, I'm going to be teaching the referral one at the end of the summer, because that's where my big, that's referrals and building that are my big things. So
I'm not overly salesman either. Like, I would much rather just build a relationship and then.
Can you hear Chris? Talk
Yeah, a
then,
little
Daniel. Okay. How about it?
Okay, I'm not overly salesman either. I'd much prefer to build a relationship, build trust, and then look to me when they're making that decision. You've been in the business for 10 years or longer.
About 10.
How long do those relationships typically
Take to turn over?
Yeah.
A while. But when they come in like big waves, and then they kind of taper off a little bit, and then they come back. So like for me, it took me a few years of being in Barrie. So I grew up in Mississauga, and then I worked in Hamilton, and then I came to Barrie. So then I had to build a whole new database here. And so for those leads to turn over from 2000, it took me from pretty much 2016 up until almost 2019. It took me a couple of years of constantly nurturing them and constantly not necessarily shoving real estate in people's faces, but always kind of talking about real estate. So every time I'd be on the schoolyard with moms chatting on the schoolyard, I would always walk up and be like, how are you doing? Oh, great. I had real estate photos today. I had showings today. I was always talking about that I was doing real estate, not necessarily asking for their business, but always having that conversation with them. And what happened there is because I was talking so much about it, even though they weren't selling, they had a friend that was selling and they passed it on to me. So one mom on the schoolyard, for example, referred me to a $1.2 million sell and a $2 million buy. And like, That's a lot of commission just for me talking about real estate, not necessarily me pushing real estate onto people. So it does take a lot of time for that to turn over, but constantly talk to them because you never know. So database tools, 5x5 index cards. I'm quite honestly, I don't know what that is, so we're going to skip over that one. Electronic spreadsheet, personal information manager, database management systems, and contact management systems. So personal information manager, I'm assuming this is like what we have in Command and the systems that we have when it comes to contacting them via email and different drip campaigns that we can do. I have no idea. Database tools, questions, which is the best type of database tool to use and the one that you will actually use systematically. So the 4 laws: build a database, feed it every day, communicate with it in a systematic way, and service all the leads that come your way. So we can start by, we talked about building the database. So making sure that you're just adding everybody you meet to your database. Talking to those people, whether it's sending out an email to them, saying hi, texting, just calling randomly. I sent probably 50 text messages out to database people I haven't spoken to in forever. 5 of them came back. They had purchased something, which was not following up with people that like you should be, which is what changed my ways, is seeing how much I lost in not following up with people. Communicating with them systematically. On my cell phone, and if you have a Samsung, you have the ability to schedule a text message. So all of my sellers and buyers, when they buy a house and we have a home anniversary, I actually go into my phone and schedule a happy home anniversary message for them 1 year in advance. I don't have to remember. I don't need a notification on this. It sends it automatically from my phone, and I know that it will get to them. That and their birthday. So they sit in there and send it, and I can send messages between now and then, but those will still send on their birthday and on their home anniversary. So always doing a birthday, always doing a home anniversary, even if they're not your clients, knowing what their home anniversary is, you can find that on Geo Warehouse. Send them a happy anniversary, home anniversary message, and being consistent with your follow-up. Those hot leads need a follow-up every week, if not every other week. Like, you need to be constantly on top of them. That's how we lose their attention. There are 97,000 realtors in Ontario. If it's not us contacting them, it's going to be somebody else. And service all leads that come your way. And that is, now it depends on what you're doing, but when it comes to rentals, like, I don't love doing rentals. It's a lot of paperwork for very little pay, but I still help all rentals, because all rentals are relationships that you're building that they might tell their mother who's selling. I had one rental that I didn't think much of. She has sent me her mother selling her house, her sister buying a house. So that one rental lead, even though we always seem to like push them away, turned into some great relationships that will continue to grow. Okay, build a database. It's not just the business of servicing clients, it's the business of finding clients to service. We've kind of talked about that a little bit. The size of your real estate business over time will be the direct proportion of the size of the quality of your database. So we've talked about this. It's not just about like taking care of the clients you have. Our job isn't just selling real estate. Our job is lead generating. It is our job to pick up the phone, to meet people, and it depends on what kind of schedule you're holding yourself. You might, for me, I was dropping kids off at school and picking kids up from school. I didn't have that 9 to 12 opportunity to make those calls. So I did what I could, and that was talking to people that I was around, talking to play groups, talking to daycare providers, talking to moms at the daycare. I turned what I did on a regular basis in my schedule into something. So you might be dog walking at the park and and meeting other people there. And you don't have to, like I say, thrust real estate on them. You can just talk to them about it. Talk to the lady at Tim Hortons, talk to the lady outside of Tim Hortons. I don't know what you do outside of selling real estate, but if you're on sports teams, Dylan Jarvis, who is an agent here at KW Experience, how many deals did Dylan do last year? 75? He did 75 deals. He doesn't do phone calls. He doesn't, well, he does phone calls, but he does phone calls to his own database. He doesn't do lead generating phone calls, and he doesn't do door knocking. He gets most of his business from his basketball team, from just calling people when he's bored to say hi. Like, he did 75 deals last year just from creating the relationships with his current database. He could probably do 150 if he had a proper database, but where contacts come from. Yeah, we talked about that. Online leads, you can do it, but the quality of your leads and FISBOs and phone calls and yard signs, the quality of your leads really come from the personal relationships that you build with people. All right. Haven't met and met. Haven't met. General public, target groups, METs, network group, allied resources, advocates, and core advocates. Here is something that I'm going to be a devil's advocate here, because your personal database in your closest sphere isn't necessarily going to be your biggest business. I thought coming into this business, I had a really great network of friends and work that I had done in the past. I thought that everybody I knew who knew I was a real estate agent would be coming to me to buy. Chris is here laughing because he knows. Would be coming to me to buy or sell real estate. It's not the case. Do not let your METs, so those allied resources and those personal advocates, go unnoticed because you're sure they're going to come to you in your real estate career. They're probably not.
Honestly,
They're probably not. I have lost, like, some of my best friends have purchased with somebody else, which I never thought would be the case, but it is the case, and it will continue to happen. At first, I thought it was because I was a new agent. I've been doing this for 10 years. I have built a fairly successful career, and I still get phone calls that somebody I know has bought a house without me, and it's my own fault because I hadn't followed up with those personal relationships enough that they thought of me at first. And even the ones who do think of you, do not rely on those allied resources. I have better luck with complete strangers selling real estate with me than I do my best friends. So I really, really push networking groups. Like, that's the biggest one on this list. And then the general public, having conversations. Now, Keller Williams teaches us a lot about in the line at the grocery store and have a conversation with the guy in front of you and then hand him your business card. Like, I don't know who's actually doing that, but it's not me. Being surrounded by people, like-minded people who I'm comfortable with. So people in the dog park or people on sport. I started playing baseball. I suck at baseball. I only started playing baseball because I knew it would be a good networking opportunity. And it has been. They all know me as being the realtor on the team. And they all have large groups of friends. So I would say targeting your networking groups, target groups, networking groups, and allied resources, and those advocates and core advocates, make sure you touch them too, but don't spend all your time hoping that your friends are going to buy or sell a house with you, because they might, but they probably won't.
honestly, like, once I got into real estate, I felt the same.
Yeah,
It's just like
we all do.
people, I don't know why, but just think you're a ball.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, I got into real estate. They're like, not to me anymore. That it's like,
Nope.
what does that do? Like, come on.
It's not an easy group to target. So I always say, keep on following up with them, keep on spending your time nurturing them, but don't focus all your time thinking that your friends and family are gonna do
Honestly,
that.
the best thing that I've done probably is, like, I'm not that big on social media, but it's
Constantly posting.
if they just see you're constantly working at real estate, even if it's not necessarily working.
Yes.
They see that you're actively involved, and regardless of whether we make it or not, they all look at it and see it.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like subconsciously putting that in mind.
So I'm going to drop my like biggest tip, which is related to that, about touching your personal database, like your personal spheres through Instagram. You are not going to get new business from Instagram, but you are going to solidify your place in this business to your contacts on Instagram by constantly posting. Do not expect somebody randomly to message you on Instagram and ask you to sell their house. And if they do, it's probably a scam. But I have had my personal sphere contact me because they have seen how active I was in real estate because of how often I posted. Now, Chris, you do post a lot because I follow you on Instagram. You should be posting more sales. You are on a team, so ask them to post their sales. The Walker team. So we want to see listed, and you have been. You've been, and the fact that you post like out for showing number 1 of 4 today, like that is showing people you're out doing stuff. Now, when we sign listing contracts with our clients, we are actually signing it through the brokerage, which means our contracts with our clients are brokerage contracts, not personal clients, even though we are representing the brokerage. Now, if you build good relationships with the agents in your office, which I highly encourage you to do, especially if you're at Energy, Energy has a huge office filled with people. Go in, meet those people, talk to those people, and get to know what agents you're working with, because they are going to help you, hopefully, if you have the right office, they're going to help you build what you have. There are agents in this office when I first started here that would allow me to post their listings on my Instagram as my own to promote their listings and to promote my business. And they knew that anything I posted, like I wasn't going to be in competition with them. We are here to help each other. So I posted those constantly, and everybody who I was around were like, "You're busy." And I said, "They're office listings, like they're office listings." But then some people don't ask you and they just think you're really freaking busy. So I would say constantly posting on social media. Chris will take pictures of the houses he's about to go to, house showing 1 of 4, and then post them on stories throughout the day, or about, you do it better than most people. So a nice living room, or what do you think of this renovation? But if you can have people in your office that are willing to share their listings with you to post it, I think that that's extremely important. And I have a handful of agents in this office that are happy to allow you to post their listings as your own. And I'm the mentor for this office. And I always tell the people in the office, if you see me posting a listing, just take it. Don't ask. Stick your name on it, say for sale, and build your own database. Because, yeah. All right. So types of business: Mets and haven't Mets. Mets, repeat referrals and new. Haven't Mets, referrals and new. So this is all pretty self-explanatory. I can't stress referrals enough from the people that we know. And we do have to add, like I said, most of my business is referral business. New business is usually referral business also from other agents out of town. I have relationships with agents at the Energy office that send me business. I have relationships with the agents at Edge in Burlington, at Realty Solutions in Mississauga. So if you get an opportunity to be in a different town where there's another KW, go into that office and meet people. Hey, I'm just coming here to say hi. I work at the other office. It's hard to do, to build that up depending on your character. But it's really important to create relationships with other agents and if you have referrals, try to target the same realtor that you're sending them to, because if you're always sending your referrals to John Smith in Hamilton, you want to make sure John Smith is sending you his referrals. So pick an agent who doesn't have a cooperating referral partner. I have many agents in my office that send the same lead to the same agents in Hamilton area. Well, guess who she sends her referrals to? Me. So just make sure that you've created that relationship with those agents also. How large should your database be? Follow the model from KWU Ignite. Make 10 contacts each day and enter into your database. You'll have 2,000 people. You'll have 2,000 people in 200 working days. Making 10 new contacts a day is extremely hard to do. If you ever do bold, bold is a good, like, have you done bold? Are you new? Relatively. If you get a chance to do bold, do bold. Bold is a good crash, like 20 contacts a day for X amount of weeks. It really does build your database up pretty quickly. 10 contacts a day, each and every day is new contacts is difficult to do. I would love to say that it's doable, but if you're not doing this full time or you're not all in, just cut down 2 people. 2 new people a day, even if it's just a name and a phone number or a first name and a last name and where you met them, so you know you can go back and talk to them again because you still need a way to contact them. But to start off with 2 contacts, and I feel like the KW University gods are going to come and get me for that, but realistically, 10 contacts a day is hard to do. Classifying your haven't met and your mets. Continually moving your contacts towards becoming core advocates. 20% of your database can lead to 80% of your business. That is true, though allied resources, advocates and core advocates are, like I said, are really important. They're not going to come necessarily from your personal sphere. So meeting people and moving them into the circle is really important because they will be the bulk of your business. Just don't assume that they're going to be your closest contacts, your closest friends. Building your METS database. Sources for building your METS database. Family, friends, neighbors, home, school, people you do personal business with, sports and hobbies, former employees, co-workers, suppliers, customers, organizations, and other. Is there anything on here like for yourself, Chris? Where do you meet people? Do you do sports?
Yeah, I do sports. Sports is a big one for me. Sports and hobbies. I just got a buy from a former employee, which was nice. Family, they try to be helpful, but I think like they'll just let me know, like, oh hey, someone just bought. I'm like,
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for helping me here, guys. But honestly, like you can't put the expectation on anyone other than yourself.
Yeah.
Which is tough. Like even like I just started at the start of every month, just reaching out to my brother and my sister, like, hey, if you know anyone by yourself.
Yeah.
And it's just like they understand that I'm in real estate, but if I don't put that at the forefront of the brain, they're just like,
It's not what they're thinking of. Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, Chris needs
So
help.
I have my dad, who's got a great database himself because he was in sales, carries a stack of my business cards around.
Nice.
And he'll go and when he's talking to people, hand them my business card. I also have a brother-in-law that owns a shop in Barrie, and though not always the best target audience for the shop, I have him carry a stack of my business cards for his clients who come in, and my husband carries a stack of my business cards to his work because he works in a business that are a lot of newcomers to Canada and they're buying homes. So have your friends and family carry around a stack of your business cards and just like remind them to do it. Just like Chris reminds his brother and sister that he's in real estate and says, do you know anybody? And when your brother or sister or your family members have a decent network themselves, they're good people to pitch to. Like if you can remind them to do that, though, I find like brother and sister might not always be like promoting you to their friends. Exercise. Who knows you already? We just did this. I'm ahead of game. What about yourself? Sports?
Yeah, I think making new connections over the last year has been important to see. But I found it a struggle to take that shift from people who used to see me as an electrician to see me as a realtor. And making new connections has been far more fruitful for me.
Yeah.
Mhm. It is that hard transition from, like, I worked in bars.
Yeah.
So from being behind a bar and serving you tequila to how now leave me responsible for your largest asset, I did find to be like a more difficult
It's
transition.
almost like the people that you never met only see you in like a realtor life, whereas your previous, they see you as like electric or bartender. Luckily, I came from like design and sales, so the people kind of saw me in a real big like atmosphere. But it's still like they just don't think of me with fine or something.
Tasha, it's Tasha, right?
Yep. Yep.
So when it comes to like your personal network, like how do you add people to your database? Do you, I don't know, do anything?
So yeah, so when I made the switch over, I slowly just started kind of going back through all of my phones and pulling all of my old contacts, my old leads, my old clients, existing clients, and adding them into my spreadsheet. I honestly, I've been sitting here listening about the sports, and I golf. I play baseball twice a week on 2 different teams, and I never really. I have people ask me like, how are things going? Like, how's the market, what have you? But I've never really kind of had anything come of it, and I've never really thought about adding my friends, etc., or teammates into my database, which is very silly.
No, it's hard to do, right? Because we have such a personal relationship with those people that to transition from playing baseball with them to pitching real estate is hard, and I struggle with that. So I found that instead of trying to sell real estate to them, like when you go into a game, like when you come wherever to play a game, you just, like, when they ask you how your day was, I just incorporate real estate into it. It was good. I had 3 showings. Like, I had a good day. I had 3 showings this morning. I taught a class. How was your day?
Right.
And then it's just reminded them, and you don't have to go, are you buying and selling? Like sometimes I throw it in as a joke because I have to, but like I don't just like shove it in their face always, and like, or ask them how they're doing, because they're going to turn around and ask you like, oh, how was your weekend? What did you do this weekend? Oh, I went to the cottage. Oh, cool. Yeah, I was out at showings. I have this client that's doing this and that. People want to hear about what's happening in real estate. Like, our market's nuts right now, or, oh, thank gosh, it's slowing down. This year's busier than last year. Like, but you don't have to like pitch them. You can just, no pun intended, you can just have like a conversation about what you're doing and how busy you are. I always say like, busy. I'm busy doing this. I'm busy doing that. And sometimes I'm not.
Yeah.
But
no. So while we've been talking, I had seen yesterday that our Ajax, my women's league, is looking for donations for our raffles and our thing. So I just reached out as you guys have been talking. It was like, I'll donate something. So
it's good.
Present, yeah.
Daniel, what about yourself?
I'll be honest with you. I'm basically like a old school salesman kind of guy, and you want to put a cowboy hat on and ride the saddle. And I haven't been very good at organizing database so much, to be perfectly honest with you. It's one of the things I struggle with every day. I found that getting into real estate, there's so many things to do daily that it can be overwhelming sometimes, and getting to data entry of people's names and phone numbers into a computer is very it's not exciting. So I'd rather go talk to people and like you create those relationships with them.
I honestly do that also. Sorry.
I was just going to say, so I've just basically been trying to add all of the names and phone numbers and contact information of my people that I know into Command, and then trying to learn how to use command and create, like the drip campaigns and the touches and all of that stuff, right? That's where I am with it.
Eventually your data for you. So once you get, I found that putting everything in there for the first time, like transferring everything from an old database to this one, I did the Excel spreadsheet and then added them all in that way. So at least they were in there, and then I could update them instead of add new contact, type it out. Add new contact, type it out. So try doing the Excel spreadsheet at the top right-hand side. It will allow you to import your contacts, fill in as much as you can that way, and then do them in one big hit, and then just update their information in it as you go. It is really tedious doing your database, and if that's not something that you love doing, then it's hard to get going. The other thing I find is a lot of new agents spend too much time doing their database and not enough time, like you said, getting out there and meeting people and talking to people. So there has to be a healthy balance. Because for a little while at the beginning of my career, I was just doing things to get ready to work. Well, that wasn't actually getting me business. My database was great. My drip campaigns were great, but I still needed to go out and meet new people and add to that. So what you're doing is really, Daniel, the most important thing, and that's getting out and meeting new people. Just don't let your database get out of control, because that's when you lose people. Like, you lose people in the mix of things, or people I hadn't talked to in forever, like I said, and I lost business because I hadn't put them where they needed to be.
Yeah, the same here as well. I've lost so many people over the last 6 years because I haven't been efficient with my follow-up process. Like, I've even had past clients use other realtors to purchase a new home. So, those hurt, right? Yeah. So that's part of the struggle, is to be more organized with the follow-up process with the database. Yeah.
That's great. All right. So make a list of people who come to mind. All right. Now on to the next. Building your haven't met database. Title companies, you may want to co-market with them, third-party vendors. Cost depends on the vendor and the size of the mailing. So you're talking, Tasha, about putting in something, sponsoring a gift. I guess you could go like that. I have done hockey teams in the past. Like, once you're at the point where you have a marketing budget to sponsor a hockey team. Like I said, I have a brother-in-law who owns a shop, so I kind of have him try to promote to the people he knows as best as he can. But I haven't really worked personally with third-party vendors and sending out mailing campaigns. Like, I don't do direct mail. You have to be really consistent with your farming if you're going to do direct mail. And I just wasn't consistent enough for that, unfortunately. So I chose to do email campaigns. Feed it every day. Make 10 new contacts, enter 10 people into your database, write 10 notes, and preview 10 homes a week, not daily. So has anybody done Ignite here? No?
I've been on the other end of it.
Yes. Yes. You have, Tasha?
I think I just did like 1 or 2 of the classes.
Yeah.
I did one as well.
Yeah, they did this for, they do this for Ignite here. So like I said, making 10 contacts a day isn't always the easiest to do. Make a goal for yourself. Start off week 1, making 2 contacts every day. And then week 2, making 3 contacts every day. And then as your database gets bigger, you can just run through your contacts, follow up, and do 10 contacts. 10 past contacts are much easier to do and touch. And then continue to just add as many as you can. Previewing homes weekly. People think that's just for new agents. I gotta say, it's really important to get out and preview those homes for a multitude of reasons. But when you're having those conversations with your baseball team or with your hockey team or with whatever it is, knowing what's out there and what's on the market is just a good conversation piece. Oh, I saw this home the other day. They had a Grim Reaper hanging from the basement. True story. Happened once. So like you can have conversations with people about what you've seen, and it allows you to educate, like you're educating yourself on what's on the market, and what the prices are looking like, and what kind of competition, because as you preview those homes and you book them, you'll start getting notifications for what kind of offers they have. So you're going to see what happens. So I think previewing homes is really important. Write 10 notes. So we promote handwritten notes here a lot. Realistically, that is hard to write 10 handwritten notes, but it is so impactful to give 10 handwritten notes, even like a week, to people. People love seeing that. It's why when those businesses who try to buy your homes with cash send out those handwritten notes, people actually look at it a second time because it looks like handwritten, even though it's actually just photocopied. Handwritten notes, I feel, make a big impact, and everybody should.
I used to do like, my goal was like to do like 3 to 5 a day notes. And it was just basically, all I would do is go into a warehouse and pick an area and then go in house by house and see basically who bought their house the latest. So like 1995, 1992, and then I'm writing the handwritten notes, just sort of like who I was, what I'm doing, everything like that. I probably did 100, and I got 1 response. It was probably the best feeling I've ever got.
To get a response. Yeah. Yeah, they do make an impact though. Expanding your METS database, phone calls, visiting with past clients, school, church is the big one for people. Like I don't know if anybody's a church goer here, but if you are, church families are like, they love to, Brennan, good, how are you?
Yeah.
Church families love to work with each other. If you want to talk about adding 10 new contacts to your database, we have welcomed a new person here. This is Brendan. Say hi.
How's it going?
So Brennan gets on Mojo Dialer every day,
Used to.
mostly every day. And he calls people until he's made 25 contacts a day. So
When you say contact, what do you mean? Is that if I say, would you like to sell your house, and I say, no?
So he makes 25 contacts a day through Mojo Dialer. So he goes on the 3-ring. Daniel and Tasha, do you know what Mojo Dialer is?
No, I just marked it down to look up though.
Okay. So Mojo Dialer is an auto dialer where you basically plunk the numbers in for a certain neighborhood or whatever the case may be, and it dials for you. And you have 3 lines going at once. And then when somebody picks up, they drop the other lines. And then when you're done the conversation, you hang up, all the other lines start running again. Now, Brennan.
Yeah.
This was through a cell phone or a landline?
Computer.
Computer. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But it's hooked up to your phone, right?
You can, so it calls, you can use a landline, but you can use your cell phone number. So if they call, like if they miss the call and they call you back, you'll get a call to your cell phone.
Do you hear that? Yeah, okay. So he calls people for a couple hours until he makes 25 new contacts a day. He is the way to do it. How many people are in your database?
I think close to 400.
400 people he has in his database. How long have you been in real estate?
A year and 4 months.
A year and 4 months.
Fantastic.
How many deals do you do?
17.
He's done 17 deals
Amazing.
just from Mojo Dialer. He is like gonna kill it.
I'm in.
Do it with my brain, but
Yeah.
but 17 deals in his first year and a half, which is like just incredible. And I think we won rookie. Didn't you win Rookie of the Year last year?
No.
Well, he should have. So yeah, Brennan has done an incredible job adding those people to his database. And what database do you use?
Command. I love Command for using like the tasks section. It's just an easy way to follow up every single, whenever you call them. I send like a letter after if it's someone that I want to add to my database, and then I follow up on the letter, and then I ask more questions on the follow-up of the letter, and then I'll send another task to follow up on, and then just keep getting in-depth conversations and get closer to the time when they're looking this up.
So next time we do this course, Brennan's going to be teaching it. So yeah, that he picks up phone, and that cold calling works for him. Now, out of your 17 deals, sorry, we're going to do a question and answer thing because he's a good example. How many of those are your personal friends?
Out of the 17, personal friends.
Or family?
Two.
2? What about open houses?
Open house. Four.
4. I'm going to talk about open houses because we've talked about phone calls. We've talked about school, church, neighbors, sports, community. Open houses. Open houses, we should be doing 2 a month, no matter what. But as you are building your database, you can do more than that. And I would encourage you, if you have the schedule that allows to it, to do more than that. Open houses are great opportunities to add people to your database. The reason I brought it up with Brendan here is not just because it's on the sheet, but when Brendan first started, Brendan was the first person to volunteer for all of my open houses, and he would do 2 a day. So he would do like 11 to 1 and then 2 to 4. And just now, granted, he has no kids, so like, it's much easier for someone who doesn't have other responsibilities on the weekend. But he would do 2 a day, and that helped build his contacts too. So those open houses are like, they're so important. They're easy to do. And if nobody shows up to them, sit there with your laptop open and do other contacts, do some other work and get through other stuff. I love open houses. I have fun doing them.
And a lot of people, for follow-ups, they don't like, they're usually at work when I'm trying to call them. So Saturday is a good time to do follow-ups on, and because people are home.
Did you guys hear that on there?
Yeah.
Okay. So the other thing about open houses, and here's my little open house trick, which not all people love, but I do it anyways because it's good for contact. When first volunteer for open houses for anybody in your office, go on your KW Energy Facebook page and write on it or experience anybody needs someone to cover an open house. Now inventory is low, so it is hard to get open houses right now, but post that and volunteer for these open houses. Volunteer for open houses that are sold conditionally. And the reason that I promote people to do sold conditional open houses, even if it's your listing and you've sold conditionally, is because it's listed as sold conditional on the boards. You're not getting people who already have agents. You're getting people who are finding it on realtor.ca who are agentless, and they don't know that it's sold conditional. And when they come into your sold conditional open house and you think, well, that's not a good idea because then you have to tell them it's sold conditional, you are going to have with you 3 similar properties to the ones that you have at the sold conditional, as the sold conditional, 3 additional properties. When they walk in, you're going to tell them right away, like, hi, welcome to the open house. I just wanted to let you know, we have actually sold this property conditional, but we had already scheduled this open house, so we didn't want to cancel. Here are 3 other properties that might be an option. Would you be interested in seeing any of these? And guess who's getting a second appointment that afternoon just from somebody coming into an open house and you having 3 other options?
A very good example of that. We were, I was doing a home inspection. We had to cover the buyer's home inspection on our sale. So I was there and we got a sign call. They're like, can you see the property? No, it's conditionally sold. Then I was like, she's like, okay, can we go see this other one? Took her to see it. We didn't want to get that one, but kept showing her houses. They bought in like a week.
I was saying that I was standing out front of somebody else's sale, showing my clients, waiting for my clients, and I was standing on the road tinkering. And yeah, this guy had walked up. It's happened twice now, but biggest one. He walked up, said, "Can I go see this house?" I'm like, "Can't right now. I've got like showings in a row, but I'll take you back tomorrow." "Oh, okay, great." Took him back the next day. He didn't end up buying that one. It went in multiple offers. But I did end up selling his house and buying something else. And that's just from talking to someone
Yeah.
outside of a listing. Like,
It was lucky for me because I was there with Andrew covering just because I wanted to see the home inspection. And they called and Andrew said it's sold conditionally. And then I just said, I'll take it right now to go look at it.
that's like the best way to do it.
So I worked out perfect.
So
And from like another example from open houses, we had an open house. We had some buyers come from Mississauga. They were selling their house in Mississauga, but looking to buy in Barrie. So we helped them. I helped them buy in Barrie, and then their daughter had a home in Mississauga. They're like, "We want you to sell her home." Then she's buying in Barrie also, and their son's buying that.
there you go, all from an open house.
That's four.
Yeah.
Four from all the. From one of them.
Customers ask for it, like,
Okay, so the biggest thing is
Talk
that I found at open house is like, you don't make it a note that specific house. Hey, what are you looking for?
Mhm.
Oh, well, I'm not, like, I live home with 4 bedroom, this house only has 2 bedroom. Oh, I can definitely give you a hand. Are you currently working with anyone?
here's some options.
I can give you a hand finding 4 bedrooms if you'd like. Sometimes they say no, sometimes they say yes, but like I was able to get the people come through looking at a semi 830 and we just closed on a $900,000 detached.
That's awesome.
It's like, if you don't make it about that specific house that you're looking in, more so about just helping them find whatever they're looking for,
Yeah,
and they're not working with anyone obviously.
It's very rare to get someone just come in, walk into the open house and they want that.
Yeah.
So just I always spend time showing other properties.
yeah. The other thing to do is prior to an open house, you can knock on a few neighbors' doors. And you don't have to make it like a 2-hour thing prior to your open house knocking on doors. But what I do is I go around to like maybe like the circle of 10 houses and invite them to the open house. Like, we know you're probably not looking in the neighborhood, like you're probably not buying or selling, but we wanted to invite you to this open house in case you have friends and families who might want to move into the neighborhood. This is just business for the future. So it's relationships and conversations, and they come in, "Hey, how are you? Thank you for coming. Like, we're happy. We just want the neighbors to have a look to see if they know anybody. Let me grab your contact info. If you find someone who might be interested in buying this house, like, let me know."
Mhm. I have another example for an open house last week. I was pulling up to the open house and the neighbor yells at me and they're like screaming at me. They're like, "Hey, hey, hey." I was like, I look back and they're like, "Yeah, we're looking to sell our house." I unfortunately didn't get it because they bought in SAG and used the agent on SAG to sell the house. But he said like, "We're looking to sell." So I was pretty close, but
Yeah.
they just went with.
Open houses, folks. It's where to be. So the farming is the next one, and we have actual farming slides, not for this, but I think there might be a lesson on farming, but geographic and niche farming. So if you're in a particular neighborhood, I always tell people, please go and knock on your neighbor's door and tell them you're real estate and just have a conversation with them. Again, don't necessarily try to pitch it, but just, I'm in real estate. This is what I do. And my biggest thing when I go to my neighbors and try to sell my neighbors' houses, and I live in a very small neighborhood, like there's 10 houses, is I always say there's nobody that cares more about how much you're going to sell your house for than me, because your sale directly affects my property. So when I did sell my neighbor's house, my pitch to him was like, the more you get, the more my house is worth. So that's why this, I care about what happens to you and it affects me also. So that's something you can put even on flyers. It's like, nobody cares about the value of your house like I do, because it directly affects me. For sale by owners, those are hard to come by these days. Expired listings, I mean, there's rules about that. Agent to agent referrals, my favorite. Agent to agent, I can't stress this enough. Build good, healthy relationships with other real estate agents. it makes a difference. You never know when those people are going to retire. You never know when those people are going to decide that they want to move to Newfoundland, which happened to a few of my friends, but now I've taken over their business, or Costa Rica. So agent to agent referrals, and being a big thing for me when it comes to negotiating or dealing with other agents is, they say, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar. Creating healthy, strong relationships with other real estate agents and not being an a-hole is extremely important with building your personal business, because I can list off a handful of people that are nightmarish to work with in Barrie that would never stop me from taking my clients to go and see a house with that they have listed. But I'll tell you, like, it is an eye roll for anybody who has to deal with these people. And when you don't have a good relationship with someone, it's just, I really can't stress to you, agent to agent relationships are extremely important and will help you down the line in building your own business in ways that you couldn't even imagine. But all of a sudden I went from doing my own thing to I specialize in co-listing with agents from out of town who want business here. Just so you guys know, Tasha and Daniel, I do great agent to agent referrals up here. Anyways, internet leads. I haven't had super amounts of success with internet leads. I find they do tend to be a little bit of a dud. I think doing it with the phone calls, the visits, the open houses, and that stuff, you're probably going to get much more business from.
What are your thoughts on like programs like Agent Locator? Also, I keep on getting like messages all the time from, hey, we've got 15 booked leads in this area. Are you still looking for leads? Companies trying to solicit my business for leads. What do you guys think about this?
I personally have had a little bit of luck with Agent Locator when I first started. I no longer use them anymore. I had some luck with Sync also. That was another good one.
We use Sync right now.
Yeah.
I can speak a bit about Sync. We started Sync.
CINC.
CINC, yeah. Right now, it's hit and miss. It takes a while to get stuff out of it. But one of 5 of my deals this year will be coming from Sync. People from Scarborough wanted to see houses in Oro, so I showed them.
Are you targeting mostly Oro?
It's like Barrie, Aurelia. It's like just the general vicinity of like 30 minutes around. We got lots of people looking up north, but from Scarborough looking to buy in that area. And then I helped a buyer, and then I'm also helping one seller again. And they're buying in Barrie also. So
he's had good luck with that. 5 deals from Sync. Yeah, I do think
that sounds worth it to me.
right.
It takes a while though. We started like last July, I think, and we didn't really have it until I was the first one to get it.
So we started last July, and he was the first one to get one in May. So what I found with Sync is it did take a long time to turn over, but I have gotten deals from Sync, and I liked that one. I preferred it over Agent Locator.
Yeah, it's also be better because like it tells you what people are looking for already. You have a general information of the person already instead of just cold calling. Right?
Does Andrew just rotate the Sync leads around?
Yeah. It just comes in 25%. Just keep going around.
Did you find that those leads you were competing with 50 other agents, that those leads were being sold to other agents?
Yes. I feel like yes and no. A lot of people say they're getting like multiple different properties from different people, that sort of thing. But the one, the people from Scarborough, they just kept looking at the properties that our AI would send them. And they're like, you're patient, you didn't bug us, blah, 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 we want to work with you. I showed, and then I went to show them properties, and then they're like, all right, you're listing our house.
Yeah.
That's great.
But they also have real estate agents in Scarborough that they said they're like best friends with, and they didn't even want to use them.
Yeah.
They had their friend come over the next day and talk to them.
Brennan is also like a very nice, easy to talk to
Gotta be
person.
personal.
People like working and trusting with him. I think you said one of your biggest hurdles was, and I mean this in a complete compliment, is that Brendan is young.
Yeah.
So he was saying originally that one of his biggest hurdles was having people take him seriously because he's your early 20s.
24.
He's early 20s.
I wish I had gotten in real estate at that age.
Yeah, but he said he was saying it, he struggled having people take him seriously at the beginning, but like now he's got more experience than a lot of the older agents just because
It's good having a team around you too that you can fall back to as well. So.
yeah, and a good team, a good healthy team. 5 Points is a great team. All right, what to feed your database? Their name, home address, phone number, email, business card. So like I said, just start off by just getting a name. If you are on a baseball team and you have their name and their phone number, just start with that, move up to address, then to email address, and that stuff later. Just start with baby steps and work your way up. All right, what to feed your database? Help to build your relationships more quickly by gathering information. Buyer and sellers, forward, family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. Those are really great conversations, and those conversations actually build trust. So knowing what they do and having something to relate to, I always find that having personal stories to relate to people really help them trust me and connect with me. Like I've said, most of my business it doesn't just come because I'm a pushy agent. It comes from people who trust me and want to work with me and know that I'm not going to steer them in a bad direction. So creating that relationship by gathering information about them is extremely important. And not being overly pressured, like pressuring people. Like it does work for some people, but is that going to get you a referral down the road? I don't know. Their birthdays, their hobbies, their children, and Command allows you to input all of that. Okay, exercise every day, twice a day. Buying and selling data, buyer and seller data. Break into small groups of 4. We can skip this unless anybody wants to break into small groups of 1 because there is only 5 of us, 6 of us here. Choose how you might choose a spokesperson to present the results. We're skipping that. Adding contacts, when to enter contacts, updating contact information and contact history. We're skipping that too. Communicate. Systematic. Okay, communication. This is going to be important. Put your database to work. Like I said, your database will eventually start working for you. One habit, the beginning of the 3 hours. Identify, prioritize your lead generation activities. The end of the 3 hours, begin your database. So, overview of system marketing plans. Here are the 8x8s that I had mentioned at the beginning. So contacts made, so your METs. An 8x8 is a drip campaign. It touches each of your clients, whether they are an active buyer or seller. You can find these campaigns in Command. The 33 touch is one of the easiest campaigns to do. That's basically touching your contact 33 times. If you email, phone, text message throughout the year so that you're staying at top of mind. So 33, that's over twice a month. And sorry?
Sorry, I was just gonna like throw in a comment. Like I'm reading this in the Millionaire book right now.
Yeah.
And honestly, it comes across as too much. It comes across as overkill. I got to do 8x8, so that's 8 touches in 8 weeks, 33 touches throughout the year, and 12 direct mail throughout the year as well. So, like, just from my side, my perception is like I'm shoving real estate down their throat.
I know. It's I do think that the 8x8 is in, see, they're putting it as together. When I have a buyer who's actively looking, he just gets an 8x8, those 33 touches, like, and the monthly newsletter. So the 12 direct newsletter. That's all my people who are really actively looking get. The 33 touch is something that you're going to send to Mets that are maybe cold leads, and don't do everything. So everyone's going to get, and the 12 direct mail when it comes to 33 touch is part of that. So take 12 out of the 33, because that 12 direct is the once a month monthly newsletter. So you're doing the monthly newsletter, and then you're doing the rest of the touches for the 33 for your cold Mets, or for your warm, maybe warm leads, but not quite hot leads. The haven't Mets that are in your database, sending them, I would still give them more of the 33 touch, because you really have nothing to lose with your haven't Mets. But I only do the monthly newsletter and the 8x8 for people who are hot leads, so hot buyers and hot sellers, not the 33 touch as well. I don't know if that helps at all, kind of like
It's a little bit different light on it now that you've explained.
Yeah. I also wouldn't do necessarily like 33 aggressive touches. Like one touch can just be a phone call to ask them how their day's going or to wish them a happy birthday, because you're getting 12 touches from the direct mail. They're saying direct mail, but like, let's say your monthly newsletter. So 12 touches from your monthly newsletter, one touch. So 13 for birthday, 14 for home anniversary, maybe 15 just reaching out to see how their kid's baseball game went. Like those are all
consider stuff on social media as a touch. So like on Facebook, it's your birthday, I send you a message, happy birthday. Is that considered a touch?
Yeah, absolutely. And being active with your comments and your likes on Facebook or Instagram. So there's, that's what I would do. And it just, 33 touch doesn't have to be like overly regimented. It can be like those 12 direct mails, the home, the birthday, whether it's over Facebook or in an email. And just checking in, seeing how they're doing. Or if you see on Facebook that they're doing a big backpacking tour, commenting, just make yourself top of mind for them.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Overview of systematic marketing plans. This might contradict what I just said, so we'll see. Type of systematic marketing action plan. 12 direct mails, what we talked about per month. Cement the relationship in 8 weeks. Those are for those hot leads. 33 touch for natives relationship over 1 year cycle. I don't know what that is. Don't say that out loud. There's like a weird noise happening here that kind of sounds like something's getting everyone stopping, because it sounds like it's behind a wall. All three have a common theme: overkill over time. All right. That's my kid. All three over a common theme: overkill over time. Why? Because no matter how much frequency and systematic lead generation is emphasized, most real estate agents still tend to overdo it. Oh, there we go, Daniel, right on the nose. Outtouch 8 other agents. See, I think that's true. We should be outtouching other agents, but we should. But we shouldn't be like overdoing it. The benefits: consistency, predefined, reputable. Anyways, we're writing this 8x8. The entire point. Apply immediately. 8x8 in a combination of personal visits, phone calls, items of values. There are 8x8 touch plans right in your command that you can choose from. So you can do those phone calls and all of that stuff too, but it's right in your, you have options right in command. Communicate with the systematic way, expired listings. Okay, so this is kind of what we had talked about reasons to reach out to people. Like I would use the example of backpacking. But you can send out, like if it's springtime coming, you can write emails and personal experiences about like, make sure you clean out your gutters because of this, or if you're thinking about selling your home, get a house wash and then maybe connect with a Shack Shine in your area. That's what I did. I have a very good relationship with the owner of Shack Shine in Barrie, which is a house detailing, exterior house detailing company. I play baseball with him. So like that was a good connection that I had, that I wanted to make sure that he can pass my number on to people. Here's the 8x8 again. That 8x8 plan is in command that you can just pick from to start. FSBO's expired, follow up. I would only use an 8x8 for hot or really, really warm leads, because an 8x8 is a lot of information with somebody that you have a close relationship with. That will really feel like overkill, in my personal opinion. It will, like, imagine getting, yeah, Daniel's right. Like, yeah, piss off all your friends and family, they're not gonna refer you anyway.
Yeah.
33 touch. The 33 touch is a systematic marketing and prospecting technique that ensures year-round contact with all of the prospects, business contacts, past clients in your contact database. It nurtures your relationship with your contacts in your database and sustains ongoing communication. And like I said, we can do that in a systematic way that's not too aggressive, by just sending them the monthly marketing email. I feel like that's a perfect way to do that because it's value and information. So yeah. 33 touch consists of mails, letters, cards, emails, drop-offs, thank you, thinking of you, phone calls, personal, holiday, equaling 33 touches only, and mark them down. So as you have them in your database, if you've made a touch, mark it down in your database that if it isn't related to an email campaign that you're going to get notifications on. So if you're commenting on a Facebook post or doing something along those lines, make sure you write that I added to his Facebook post, so that you don't do something, you don't overdo it. Succeeding through 33 touch, be consistent, be personal, be long-term. That is extremely important. 12 direct program is a program series of direct mail pieces mailed to target haven't met groups. Okay, so this is, I'm thinking direct mail as in being like your 12 monthly emails. They're suggesting 12 direct mails to maybe people in a neighborhood, like a farming thing. I'm not sure if anybody is interested in doing out an actual direct mail. Like, that's a lot of work and a lot of money for, but I can guarantee the next thing is going to be being consistent with it, hosting events, branding versus junk mail, maintain a physical presence, too frequent emails perceived as spam. Yeah. Now door knocking is something that I did at the very beginning. I picked a farm area of 800 homes and I door knocked it really consistently to the point that like everybody knew who I was. Like I said, I'm not overly aggressive. So when I knock on somebody's door, I take a step back and then I just had a conversation with them. I didn't just go like, you want to buy or sell with me? It created a relationship with everybody in the neighborhood as knowing me to be like the non-aggressive, like nice real estate agent. Turned out to $150,000 in commission just from that 800 homes. I had for sale signs on so many homes in Hamilton at that point. Like, it was crazy. And it was just in that singular neighborhood.
What do you do for, let's say it's your like third time around, like up the same doors, you like ask if they remember you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was here.
Remember me and I knocked on your door.
I was here a couple months ago. I'm just coming around to say hi again. I have a listing coming up in the neighborhood, or I have a buyer that's looking in the neighborhood, and I just thought I'd say hi, see how you're doing.
What do you put on your door knockers?
Pardon?
What do you put on?
Sometimes I don't even bring door knockers. Don't work for it. Yeah, just bring a business card. So I had these little free home evaluation cards that I would bring with me and like hand that to them. For a while I had actual door hangers that I put on it, and then I realized they just talking to them and not throwing something in their face. Magnets At least they don't throw them out. So I had my business card turned into a magnet and I would hand it to people. So at least it would end up on their fridge. And then if they weren't there, I'd just stick it on their door. It was just a magnet or on their mailbox. So, all right. Gary in the Box. View the Gary in the Box KW video. Anybody want to watch a video? Perfect. Anybody here need to watch a video right now? No? All right, I'll take everybody's silence and so we can skip that part. Exercise. How much time does it really take to manage your database? Break into small groups of 4 to 6 people, cut along the dotted lines and index cards. Only need 1 cards per group. Choose a timekeeper. How long does it take to do your to manage your database? We should be spending it is just as important as every other lead gen as we do. Though maybe not spending 2 hours doing your database, we should be at least doing 45 minutes to an hour, just making sure our database is nurtured and under control. And yeah. I don't. What is a contact management system? It's time to use a contact management system. Myth. I don't have enough leads to bother with a contact management system. Truth. Most agents in growth phase of their career are managing 20 to 80 leads at a time. With just 20, it's difficult to keep contact information up to date, as well as scheduling, completing your lead generation activities is true. That is implementing touch programs without automatic systems becoming virtually impossible. Okay, so E-Edge, this is dated, and I think this is why I'm a little confused, because E-Edge is what we used as a database system. We still have access to it prior to having Command. And all of this stuff was integrated into E-Edge, like instead of having to get Survey Monkey or whatever the email. MailChimp. MailChimp. It actually would send them right from E-Edge. So this is no longer relevant. Don't touch that delete key. What about unresponsive? I am very, very guilty of deleting contacts that I haven't been able to get in touch with. In the past, I have learned my lesson on that, but I always say, like, just keep on trying. Like, you never know. It doesn't hurt to send them a monthly email. Just to have your face in there, and you can tag them as like responsive so that you don't spend too much time with it, but I think it's important just to keep them.
I have a buyer meeting with a lady on Friday who's been in our database since September. It's called 8 times.
Yeah.
And then I have to call there. Yeah.
Someone picked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's coming to our office on Friday.
Service all the leads that come your way. We've talked about this a little bit. Get on the fast track, funnel, assign, source, and track. So I think labels in your database are extremely important. You can create your own labels too. So you can create the buyers, the sellers, the hots, the goals. I've done all of that. And it's important that you can kind of like go to cold leads and make sure that they're all getting their 33 touches. Those are the ones that are the most important to get the 33 touches. Warm and hot leads are actually the most important, but those cold leads, that like 1,000 cold leads that you have in the background, they will turn into something someday. So doing those 33 touches for them is extremely important. Lead generation source, bringing in the leads, lead generation sources to business. Unity and marketing, signs, flyers, ads, direct mail pieces, promotional items, business cards, letters, email signatures, and websites. Do you have a website? You're on a big team, right? Oh, I love you, Caroline.
Mhm.
I actually just emailed them. Do you have a website? This
Yeah,
side by
it's
side
through
website?
Sync.
Okay,
Yeah, it's through Sync. So we have our own website.
all right. So having a website, I do think is important. It's not the end all and be all. Uh, sorry guys. Having a website, I don't think is the end all and be all. Again, I talked about Dylan Jarvis earlier. He's a good example. He actually doesn't have a database at all. His wife just started managing his database because it was getting out of control. Everything was done just from his phone, and he did 75 deals just from keeping people in line on his phone. So like having all the details that he needed on his phone, like his contacts in his phone, he's like 2,100 contacts, and each of them had names and phone numbers and emails. Command has an app that does all of those stuff. Oh, it's crazy. 75 deals. And he's still doing 75 deals. It's crazy, real estate agent. So talking about the marketing, like the signs, flyers, ads, I think you can pick a handful of these and just do what works. The website is something that I'm still only kind of getting started. You guys are in larger teams, so it's important that they have that. But phones, emails, websites. I feel like this is very repetitive, these slides. Sorry, guys. New leads, a proper group in your database. Yeah, and this is what I was talking about, labeling them. Like I have agents, I have real estate agents in my database because my lead generating is primarily referral to referral. So I have leads, I have my mentoring programs, I have the colds, the buys, the sells, like there's all different categories, and knowing where they are and when the last time you spoke to them is important. Assign leads to their farm area, the name of the team member, cooperating agent, referral agent, and I also have tags for referrals. So when I have clients, it says Michelle referral or Lindsay referral or whoever, and they're tagged so I don't forget to pay those people, because that's very important to do, especially if you want to keep good relationships with other agents. Adopted buyers, sphere of influence, past clients. All right, sources of leads. Sourcing leads, past client referrals, agent referrals, networking advocate, core advocate, sign calls, open. We've talked about all of this. This is, but for anybody who, I would take this list and start just going at these different things that you haven't done yet. But I think for you, Tasha, is to try to work on that baseball team, like very delicately. I think that that's going to be a huge turnover for you. Down the road, it just needs to be delicately nurtured without overkill.
Yeah, that's a good, like stuff like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Having like baseball team, sports, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was at my hairdresser's last month, and one of the ladies heard me talking about real estate, and she's like, "Can I talk to you after?" She talked to me. We set up an appointment. I sold her a condo now out there.
Perfect. Sorry, Tasha.
No, I was just saying thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, it's sad because I've been in the league for like 12 years on one team. And the other one I just joined this year, but they're both within Durham, all in the wheelhouse. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of that. And I appreciate the encouragement and advice.
It's a hard thing to transition from being that person to starting to talk about it, but you can do it, and you can just go in baby steps, integrating the conversation in slowly like that.
Yeah.
All right, tracking leads, lead follow-up, leads per source, ratio of leads to close business. So understanding what is turning into an appointment and what is turning into nothing, and understanding your percentages, especially to do what's that calculator? Anyways, tracking how much of your business comes from what. So understanding what's a referral, understanding what's coming from the baseball team, understanding what's coming from at the dog park, knowing where that business has come from and what kind of conversion. Like if I notice my biggest conversion is from the schoolyard, like I don't know why, but like I am most likely to convert a lead that comes from the schoolyard or a daycare provider or somebody in that mom circle that I have than I am to turn something over from my own baseball team, though I have a great network there too. I just find that that is what I focus on. So I focus on the things that turn over those leads, which is also where the conversation about your personal sphere, though my personal sphere does get some focus, and it's still enough. It doesn't get all of the focus because I've noticed that that's not where that ratio of leads to closed business comes from. Final thoughts. Build a database, feed it every day, communicate it within a systematic way, and service all the leads that come your way. And that's the end of that. Putting it all together. So I hope there was some value pulled from this lesson. I know that it was a little bit all over the place, and yeah, but I hope that everyone kind of pulled something about how easy it is to add contacts to your database. Though trying to get 10 a day isn't always the easiest thing to do. Hopefully someone has, Tasha, hopefully you're able to pull just anything. One lead from your results team makes it worth it. And open houses, doing the open houses, the conditionally sold open houses, and having those relationship with other real estate agents. If all of this just turns into like one lead, then that would be better than nothing. Anybody have any final thoughts? Okay. I think that's it. Time lapse. Thank you for bearing with me in my first teaching of this experience. I'm much better in person.
You were fabulous, Sarah. Thank you.
All right. Hopefully I see everybody for the referral. The agent to agent referral I think it's on the 30th. And hi, Marissa. Hopefully we see everybody on the 30th.
Sorry, I got hijacked this morning. Oh my
Don't
goodness.
be sorry.
So
We're
sorry.
real estate. It's never easy.
But I know there was a PowerPoint. I believe it was this one that was sent. So I will, and I'm a new agent, so I really need to be on these calls. But anyway, yeah.
No. Well, yeah, we're in real estate. It happens. And we were kind of all over the place. So it's probably better that you weren't here. But
No,
the power
good value in this. So yeah, I will go through it gently.
Is there? I'll leave a message on here with my phone number and my email. And then if anybody has any questions, like you can feel free to reach out. I do the mentor for, I know Amanda, are you with Energy, Marissa?
No, Advantage.
So I know you have Kiki as your new agent mentor, and Amanda is with Energy, and I'm the one with the Barrie office. Nice. So if you have any questions, if I can figure out how to send a message on this thing, in-call messages. I asked you guys to do it, but I don't know how to do it. I'll leave my phone number, my email, and please send me a phone. Oh, thank you.
Can you put it in chat or?
Can I put, it will pop up? That's okay. Will it go on YouTube or something?
Yeah, oh, I see what you're saying. Is this going to be online somewhere? So, right, yeah. Maybe. But I think we can find you if you're in Barrie at that location.
Yeah.
The point to not put your contact, you're going to have 50 calls every night going, oh, Sarah, you offer to have the internet call you at any hour on the hour.
Perfect. And Daniel, I will, I'll take I'll take your contact and I'll send you a text message with